Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Sunday, February 2nd, 2025, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside will be mild today with a high of 74.6 degrees and a low of 51.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Coming up, we'll examine the potential impact of Trump's latest tariff policies on international trade relationships and global commerce. Then, we'll explore the intersection of environmental justice and wildfire recovery efforts in Los Angeles, where communities are raising concerns about cleanup procedures. Finally, we'll look at why scientists are closely monitoring a recently discovered asteroid and its projected path for 2032. All this and more coming up on Alex's News. Stay tuned. Our top story this morning focuses on the mounting concerns over newly announced tariffs. With us is our economic correspondent, Ethan Parker, to break down what this means for American consumers and businesses. Ethan?
Thanks, Grace. President Trump's latest announcement of new tariffs has sent ripples through the business community, with significant implications for trade with Canada, Mexico, and China. According to ABC News, we're looking at 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods, though Canadian energy imports will face a lower 10% rate. Chinese imports will see an additional 10% tariff across the board.
What kind of impact are economists predicting for American households?
Yale University economists have crunched the numbers, and it's not looking good for consumers. Their research suggests the average American household could be paying an extra $1,000 to $1,200 annually. Moreover, according to reporting from the Tribune Democrat, economist Gregory Dacko is forecasting an inflation bump of 0.4 percentage points, with the U.S. economy potentially contracting by 1.5% this year and 2.1% in 2026.
We're hearing from various businesses already. What are they saying about these changes?
ABC News has been speaking with business owners across the country, and the concern is widespread. For instance, Penny Ice Creamery in California is worried about rising costs for both equipment and even something as simple as sprinkles. Aeroflow Health in North Carolina is preparing for higher medical supply costs, and Skinny Teas in Michigan is bracing for increased clothing import expenses.
How are our trading partners responding to these new tariffs?
The response has been swift, Grace. According to ABC News, Mexico has already announced retaliatory tariffs, and Canada isn't far behind, planning 25% tariffs on up to $155 billion in U.S. imports. The BBC's reporting indicates that Chinese manufacturers are already making strategic moves, with many relocating to countries like Cambodia to circumvent these tariffs. In fact, they found that one boot factory in Jiangsu province has seen its workforce shrink from over 500 to just over 200 employees.
And when exactly will these tariffs take effect?
These changes are coming very soon, Grace. The tariffs are set to take effect in just 2 days, on Tuesday, February 4th. It's worth noting that, according to the BBC, about 90% of Cambodia's clothing factories are now Chinese-run or owned, showing how quickly businesses are adapting to these changes. Major brands like Nike, Adidas, and Puma have already shifted their production out of China, despite China's record trade surplus of $992 billion last year.
Thank you, Ethan, for that comprehensive breakdown. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops. We turn now to a developing story about the aftermath of January's devastating wildfires in Los Angeles County. Joining us is our environmental correspondent, Chloe Martinez, with details about a controversial cleanup plan. Chloe?
Thanks, Grace. The Environmental Protection Agency's selection of La Brea Park in Irwindale as a temporary hazardous waste processing site has ignited significant community opposition. According to ABC News, residents from surrounding communities, particularly in Duarte and Azusa, are expressing serious concerns about the environmental impact of this operation.
Can you give us some context about the scale of the cleanup needed from these fires?
Certainly. Based on data compiled by Perplexity, the January fires were historically destructive. The Eaton fire alone consumed over 14,000 acres and destroyed more than 9,400 structures, including about 6,000 homes. The Palisades fire was even more extensive, burning nearly 23,500 acres and destroying almost 7,000 structures. Together, these fires tragically claimed 28 lives.
What specific materials will be processed at this site?
According to EPA documents, they'll be handling a range of hazardous materials recovered from the burn areas, including paints, solvents, pesticides, compressed gas cylinders, ammunition, and, notably, lithium-ion batteries from destroyed electric vehicles. These materials require specialized handling and processing.
I understand there's significant community pushback. What are the main concerns?
The opposition is particularly strong in Latino communities that, as ABC News reports, already face high pollution levels. Residents are worried about potential air and groundwater contamination, especially given the site's proximity to schools. Many are also frustrated about what they perceive as a lack of community input in the site selection process.
How is the EPA responding to these concerns?
The EPA has outlined several protective measures. They're promising regular air and soil monitoring, daily waste transportation, and the use of water trucks for dust control. They're also installing protective features like plastic lining and earthen berms. Importantly, they're stating this will be a temporary operation, lasting less than 6 months.
Thank you for that comprehensive report, Chloe. We'll continue to follow this developing story. Here are some other headlines. In a major shakeup at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, President Donald Trump has removed Director Rohit Chopra from his position. Chopra's tenure was marked by aggressive oversight of financial institutions and consumer protection measures, including the removal of medical debt from credit reports and limits on overdraft fees. A replacement has not yet been announced. In Philadelphia, a devastating air ambulance crash has claimed 7 lives and left 19 people injured. The Learjet 55, operated by Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, went down near Roosevelt Mall Friday evening, causing multiple house fires and spreading debris across several blocks. Among the deceased were Mexican nationals, including a mother and daughter. The NTSB is leading the investigation. In a significant development, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency Commission has gained access to sensitive Treasury payment systems. This move has sparked concerns among lawmakers about potential political manipulation of Social Security and Medicare payments. The news coincides with the resignation of David Lebrike, the acting Deputy Treasury Secretary. CBS News has agreed to provide the FCC with unedited transcripts and camera feeds from a controversial 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. This decision comes amid a $10 billion lawsuit filed by President Trump, who alleges deceptive editing practices. The move has raised concerns about press freedom and political interference in media operations. In sports news, reports indicate a potential blockbuster NBA trade between the Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks, involving stars Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. This trade would significantly impact both teams' rosters and their competitive positions in the Western Conference. Our third story this morning focuses on a celestial visitor that's been making headlines. We're joined by our science correspondent Ethan Matthews to discuss asteroid 2024 YR4. Ethan, what can you tell us about this space rock that has astronomers talking?
Thanks, Grace. According to USA Today, this asteroid was first spotted by NASA's Atlas system in Chile on December 27 last year, and it's generating interest because it currently has a 1 to 1.4% chance of impacting Earth on December 22, 2032. That's 2,880 days from now.
Those numbers might sound alarming to our viewers. How significant is this threat?
Well, WSVN reports that the asteroid is currently 28 million miles from Earth and actually moving away from us. What makes it notable is that it's the only one among 37,000 known near-Earth objects with any probability of impact. The asteroid is estimated to be between 130 to 300 feet wide, or about 40 to 100 meters, according to Mashable's reporting.
And if it were to hit Earth, what kind of impact are we talking about?
According to WSVN, if it did enter our atmosphere, it would be traveling at approximately 38,028 miles per hour. While Mashable reports it's not what we'd call a planet killer, it could potentially cause damage equivalent to destroying a city the size of Kansas City, with blast effects reaching up to 50 kilometers from the impact site.
How are scientists monitoring this situation?
As reported by USA Today, The asteroid has been given a rating of 3 on the Torino Impact Hazard Scale, which runs from 0 to 10. It's worth noting that astronomers expect this threat level to decrease as they gather more data. The asteroid will be visible through early April this year, before temporarily moving out of view, and we'll see it again in 2028.
Should our viewers be concerned about this?
The experts quoted across these sources emphasize that there's no need for immediate concern. Remember, over 70% of Earth's surface is ocean, and historically, these initial impact probabilities often reduce to 0 as we collect more data. Plus, as USA Today points out, NASA's successful DART mission in 2022 proved we can potentially deflect asteroids if necessary.
Thank you for that comprehensive report, Ethan. We'll certainly keep our viewers updated on any developments with asteroid 2024 YR4. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 3.5, the Perplexity API, and the Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.